United Nations Security Council condemns the Burmese military junta. Calls are increasing for foreign multinational companies to stop working with the Burmese military government. In the United States, much of the criticism has been focused on the California-based oil company Chevron. Chevron is one of the largest foreign investors in Burma and is the only remaining U.S. corporation with a significant presence there. Chevron is partners with the French oil company Total in operating a natural gas pipeline from Burma to Thailand. Chevron became involved in the project in 2005 when it bought the oil company Unocal, which helped build the pipeline. 11 years ago, the group Earth Rights International sued Unocal on behalf of 15 Burmese villagers. The lawsuit accused Unocal of assisting the Burmese military junta in torture, murder, and rape of villagers during construction of the pipeline. Unocal settled the lawsuit out of court. Weeks later, Chevron bought Unocal.
Chevron has been allowed to continue to operate in Burma despite U.S. sanctions. This is because of a loophole that exists for companies grandfathered in. Unocal's exemption from the Burma sanctions was passed on to its new owner, Chevron. In a moment, we'll be joined by Katherine Redford, one of the attorneys who brought the suit against Unocal. But first, I want to turn to excerpts of a documentary about the lawsuit. It's called Total Denial. The film features interviews with some of the Burmese villagers who sued Unocal.
Till the pipeline came, there were no soldiers in the area where I lived. In our village, we were planting rice. When the pipeline arrived, we had to work for the white people more and more. The soldiers were forcing us to be slaves. If we refused to work, they said they would kill us. Because of the white people, our village was destroyed, and we had to flee. They shot at my husband, and he ran away in the jungle. I waited for him with my children. A soldier hit me with his gun. I fell and hit my head on a stone and lost consciousness. When I woke up, I saw my baby in the fire. She couldn't even cry. Her body was so burned and all black.
In 1992, the soldiers came and ordered us to relocate our village. They said if we do not obey the orders, they could kill us. I was shot and didn't know how deep the bullet had gone. There was lots of blood and it was close to the heart. I didn't know whether I would live or die.
An excerpt of the film Total Denial. Unocal officials denied the charges and accused the Burmese villagers of fabricating stories.
We believe the claims are fabricated against the company that involve claims of sexual assault, for example. This tragic story about the baby who was burned and then later died. We don't know whether those things happened or not, but what we do know is that they did not have anything to do with this pipeline project because we have documents, including newspaper articles, where these folks were interviewed and they themselves said it had to do with the railroad. This is simply a case of political advocates trying to generate publicity for their cause, a political cause. They don't want American companies doing business in Burma. They filed this lawsuit to generate publicity for their cause, and at the end of the day, they will be completely unable to prove up these charges, and some of them are not only false, but some of them are fabricated against the company.
When the lawsuit went to trial, attorneys for the Burmese villagers argued Unocal should be held accountable.
They were part of an ongoing venture which had a legitimate aim in the sense of building a pipeline. We don't claim that building a pipeline is an illegitimate aim, but part and parcel of building that pipeline was the fact that the military was going to commit human rights violations in order to do this. And we don't say that Unocal would be responsible or other companies would be responsible for doing business in Burma or any place else, per se. What we're saying in this case is that Unocal and Total entered into an agreement with this government to do a particular project, that project included giving to the military the responsibility to do security, which it could have given to private companies.
Unocal claimed the Burmese military junta was not involved in protecting the pipeline, but the claim was not well received by the court.
The contract relating to the pipeline has no such provision for security to be provided by MOGE or by the Myanmar military.
How did it come about then? I'm just curious, as a matter of fact, that the SLORC did provide security for the pipeline itself, right? That's not disputed.
The pipeline, well, with respect to the pipeline itself, the construction of the pipeline, there is no evidence of any forced labor, any conscripted labor. The claims relate to areas either in the vicinity or not so close to the vicinity of the pipeline.
What do you claim? Like for instance, like the helipads are not part of the pipeline?
I believe that's correct.
What are they for?
Well, let me take a step back and provide the court with some backgrounds in the record of the case.
Well, tell me first what the helipads are for.
For landing helicopters.
To construct the pipeline. To help
well, for any other, as Judge Liu mentioned in his opinion, they were there for any purpose that the government wanted to use them.
I know, but why would you build a helipad, you know, in a remote location right next to the pipeline right away?
Well, is it the location?
Getting back to your statement, there's no evidence that SLORC provided security for the pipeline. If they provide security for the helipad, you can infer they provide security for the pipeline. And my question is, why did they do that if they weren't obligated to do it under, as you say, under the contract?
Well, I don't have the answer to as
you don't know how that came, you don't know how that came about. Nothing in the record to show why SLORC provided security for the pipeline.
California judge questioning the Unocal lawyer for excerpts from the documentary Total Denial by Milena Kaneva. It's opening here in New York on October 26th at Cinema Village. For more information, you can go to the website totaldenialfilm.com. In a moment, we'll be joined by Katherine Redford, co-founder and co-director of Earth Rights International. Stay with us. Traditional Burmese monks chanting. Here on Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman with Juan Gonzalez. Katherine Redford joining us now in Washington, D.C., co-founder and co-director of Earth Rights International. She founded the group with her husband, the Burmese human rights activist Kha Sahwa. Welcome to Democracy Now!, Katie. Talk about the situation right now in Burma and how Chevron, the U.S. oil company, what its relationship is with the Burmese military dictatorship.
Hi, thank you. The situation in Burma right now is extremely tense. People who are living in Burma and living under the rule of this terrible, brutal military dictatorship are suffering, as they have been for the past 20 years, from brutal human rights abuses, which have been only exacerbated over the past couple of weeks in response to the very brave protests and demonstrations led nonviolently by Burmese monks and other civilians in Burma, making simple demands for peace, democracy, and human rights. So what we've seen in the media has been really par for the course for the majority of the people of Burma who live under this regime every single day. Now, Chevron and many other corporations in the world are complicit in these abuses because they are in a business relationship. These soldiers, these thugs, this junta that we saw shooting protesters are Chevron's business partners. This is the government or the regime that they do business with, that they have signed deals with, and all of the corporations who are in Burma or thinking about being in Burma need to know that they are in partnership with this brutal regime.